Welcome to the Tech Voice podcast, and I'm your host Baz, and joined by, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, it's Garth once again.
Hello, this is Lee.
And tonight we're going to do PlayStation related discussion topics, and this has been recorded on the 30th of the 1st, 2021, and I'll maybe hand it over to Gareth and let him go through the topics, then we'll discuss from there.
Yeah, thank you. So, the first topic on tonight's podcast, we're going to discuss why are PS5 prices on eBay and other websites extraordinary compared to Series X prices. So, talking about why PlayStation 5 prices, scalpers obviously trying to sell them, while they're reaching the tops of, say, £1,000, $1,000, some cases £800, £900 dollars and stuff, euros as well. Comparing the Series X prices, people are reselling their consoles and stuff on eBay for a lot less. So, like, they're going for about £450, £400 or so retail, but the value on the prices is about an extra, say, 100, 150 max pounds, dollars, euros, whatever. So it's not a drastic jump from retail to resale on eBay, but on the PS5 version, however, prices are going well into the thousands. I just really wanted to get your opinion really on that, Brian Lee, just to get your feel as to why people are reselling the consoles on eBay that high compared to the Series X.
Personally, I think it's because Sony has the market share and there's more demand for them. I just think that Microsoft's just in a funny place at the minute. They have sold well, but people are waiting, can hold off until they can get them for the retail price. Whereas the demand for Sony, people want them as soon as they can really get them, and they're willing to pay the extra money. That's just a personal opinion. I could be wrong. Or somebody else has their own opinions. But what do you think, Lee, on that one, or do you think?
Me personally, I think it's just people greed. I agree that Sony does have the lion's share in the console market. So people will go bananas over their prices, but then again, people are greedy.
Well, the market share, the market leaders coming from the last generation, and the hype for them has been massive. The other thing I think as well, possibly, is that Microsoft is starting to get consoles out quicker. Like, you still can't buy a PlayStation 5 very rarely. Like even in January, there's been very little drops, whereas Microsoft has been sort of continuously dropping consoles nearly, not every day, but maybe, there's been a few drops every week or something, different retailers.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Now, Microsoft has actually worked on it.
Yep. But
Sony has been kind of lagging behind.
But it's going to be a long time before they can even get it to the point that they can make enough to have them in shop. At the moment, we can't have them in shops, but until you can go in and just say, I want a console, and it's sitting there, it's going to be, they reckon, April, May time, I've heard, and then I've heard recently that it could be up to September, I think, they say. Later autumn time, well, that would probably be October, November. So it's
a long time, to be honest, to be waiting. That's nearly, like, if you're talking autumn of 2021, like, there's nearly a full year of the life cycle already.
I know.
The next proper wave of consoles coming out again.
Hi, but the life cycle of consoles is always pretty long, but
of course,
the biggest thing I don't get is why people go bananas over any of the games consoles. There's not any proper next-gen games for them. That's going to take another, year, maybe 2 years for them to show up.
Well, I think it's because of how rare they are at the moment. People, whoever was lucky enough to obtain one, knows the value of them at the moment and what they could possibly resell for.
Plus, gamers, it's a cheaper option for gamers. Like, not everybody wants to spend the money what a PC would cost you to have a similar sort of spec, or or to go above and beyond the spec of a console. You know, as well.
I don't know. I just find at the minute, like the prices are just extraordinary compared to the Series X, and like you're talking PC prices now at the minute. Like even to get a PlayStation 5 on eBay or any other, second-hand websites and stuff. You know, it's. I'm not sure. I just think it definitely is a big jump from retail to resale.
It's the same thing that happened to all of Sony consoles at one point or another. You know, the resale value after you buy it when it first come out, you can sell for nearly double or triple the money. It's always had been stupid. But unfortunately, I just think it's just people they just want it, and the basically parents or whoever just have the money and just buy it. And because certain people buy it at a certain price and everyone else put their prices up to meet it.
It was like when the PS3 was released at the time, like I think it was like, what, £600, £500 or so? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That was a different kettle of fish, but people were giving off the price with that one.
People were selling them at ridiculous prices at the start as well, like.
So the PS3 was the same too.
That wasn't as high a value, but it was what the PlayStation 3 was. Like they went from a decent, I wouldn't say it was a cheap price, but they went from a better price than they went to the PlayStation 3, and wasn't it $550 or £600 buy it brand new, or dollars maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember now. Like it was ridiculous what it was, But that's what sort of ruined them at the start, and Sony I think have learnt from that, whereas Microsoft were coming in that generation where they were cheaper and they were selling more. So Sony has learnt their lesson from that they can't, they can't go higher than the competition. They have to be on around the same sort of level. But it's just because they're coming off the last generation market share leaders. So there's a higher demand for it, so there's going to be a higher price to get it. Through the scalpers or whatever you want to call them.
So it's not just that too. People are probably expecting a lot of exclusive games through Sony, and like Sony does have some really nice exclusive games. So people always buy a PlayStation because they have their games specifically.
Well, I bought a PlayStation, and the games I want are not out yet. So, PlayStation 5 obviously, and I'm waiting for the games. They're due to come out this year, so we'll see.
People are just stupid, and they don't really. They just want it. They just want it then and then. They don't care how.
It was just when I was looking, like just putting the topics together, it was just I find it fascinating, just the fact that the Series X is like not one Series X did I come across that was into the thousands.
Well,
they were all roughly around that.
They were
£500.
They were higher, but near the start, when they first came out for the first sort of month or two, pre-Christmas, you could have got them up to maybe £600 or £700 or £800. Because the demand obviously.
But again, I feel it's nothing compared to what
meeting the demand. They're bringing out consoles, people are getting them somehow. Where Sony consoles, even some of the bigger online retailers can't even get them.
But the problem, like over here, is that Sony's focusing on America first. They're getting the bulk of the stock, and then like here, UK and Europe are getting very little. That's the problem. So it might be a different story in America if they're getting more of a drop rate than us. If they start to drop more and they start to become more readily available, people will not be able to sell them for that price then.
Oh yeah, the price will go down on them.
So, but unfortunately, we always get the run of it in the UK. We're always the last to sort of get the.
Dude, even our second-hand prices of certain items are ridiculous. Remember, I was showing you.
Yeah. It's madness.
Yeah. So, any final remarks on that before we go on the next one, or?
No, I think we're pretty much all agreement on that one. We're sort of, higher demand equals higher value.
That's more or less it. Yes, you said yourself, like, because Sony has the market cap for it. People are just willing to pay whatever odds they can get in order to get one. So it's quite sad at the end of the day as well. But I do find people have patience because there's nothing really out for it that you can play on the PS4 at the minute anyway. So it's like, I have the new console, but
I personally wouldn't pay anything over and above
No,
what's worth.
definitely
Like,
not.
if it was
Definitely
really,
not.
really pushed, maybe £50 more, but I wouldn't be paying like £2 or £3 or £400 more. Not that much.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
You know.
You'd be lucky to even buy a PlayStation, never mind even paying more for it.
Mm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
my personal opinion.
Definitely. So the second topic on the list is scalpers already getting orders ahead of retailers. So this was in the news recently that there were people who were like obviously just scalping to get the console before the consumers and stuff
It
were
wasn't.
able apparently to get orders already through before the retailers would have them on the website for pre-ordering. So I just find this to be quite interesting as well because how they're able to like develop these sort of algorithms or have these measures in place in order to get a massive bulk of consoles already on their own name without, the retailer actually announcing that they're out of stock. I just find it quite interesting, but I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that or.
See, I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked into this topic, but I've just pulled up an article here. But if Argos, sorry, this is just me thinking. Sorry, I need the process here. So if Argos has got say consoles on a stock of them, right? PlayStation 5s, right? And they haven't even got them. Say they've been booked into their stock and they haven't put them on their website. This is saying that Scalpers has managed to buy them before they went officially live on the website. How would they even do that? To me, that's not.
Inside man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's having, I think, scripts or something in
No,
place.
inside man paying him a certain amount of
Inside
bucks.
Man, yeah. Inside Man scripts, there's so many different ways and
Or
backdoor entries, if you want to say.
or would the stock
Mhm.
obviously be on their system, but maybe load it onto the website, but not put live? But Scalpers have managed to be able
Yeah.
to push that from into the cart to purchase. But I don't know,
hmm
possibility if I suppose you're a hacker or something.
Like we are talking like within seconds, probably, of as soon as they go live to as soon as they're gone. Like that's how quick they're getting their orders
Aye,
put through. If you know what I mean, like
but
it's quicker than what humans would be able to put through. I think.
it's not
Had
even.
heard something somewhere or what? It's not really scalpers, it's more of thieving. Delivery companies, basically a lot of their employees supposedly short order a lot of deliveries.
Can I read you out a wee quick thing here? Like I know what you're saying there, like they go on instantly and they're gone. But 2 seconds. So UK retail Argos has been hit by a group of organised scalpers who managed to purchase PlayStation 5 stock before it officially went on sale. So the scalpers were able to buy it, so they haven't even put them on sale. So it's not even within that second or two, it's before they even got to that point, they were gone.
I was just in the warehouse then.
Aye, but the stock was obviously probably put up on their website, but it hadn't gone officially live, so people couldn't buy it, purchase it. But the scalpers able to manage to purchase that stock somehow, which is a bit strange.
I don't know. I just find it really fascinating, to be honest. It was, people are going for extreme lengths to get the consoles, and it's like sort of like a really, really rare item to get at the moment. It's very, I don't know. I just think it's really, I don't know. I've mixed feelings about it, to be honest.
So to me, retailers and the manufacturers need to put something in place to stop people from doing this. There needs to be more.
hmm
They did change order name to something less Sony or PlayStation. They did change it to something else.
I think they need better
Maybe.
security and better, like a better system in place to stop people doing that.
Zog or
It's
so.
really, I think, Barry, I can ask you this personally since you own one. Like, do you think all this hassle and like chaos and mayhem that people are putting themselves through just to get the console, is it worth it at this current stage with like not having much content and stuff available for it yet?
Not really,
Or do you
no.
think really it's like aims at trying to make a profit?
I don't think it's personally worth it. For me, everybody's got their own point of view. It's depending on the content that you play and for what they've brought out so far. like the only game I've officially got for the PlayStation 5 that's exclusive is the free game that was built into it, and I haven't bought any other games for it. You know. I just don't think like the only reason I got it was because I was able to pre-order one and I knew what was coming out within a year or two maximum, you know, and plus I wanted the enhanced version so I could play the PlayStation 4 games that are upscaled, you know, or what's boosted as it what's Sony's term for it, that, you know, like Microsoft's, that's, well, regardless, but I just, for new content it's not great at the minute, you know, and there obviously is a few games coming out, but then, to be honest with you, you know, either platform you can play them on, and you don't have to have the enhanced versions. You know, the games are still coming out in all consoles, so it's not a necessity yet. You know, it's going to be a year or two before we get the fully fledged next generation games. To be honest with you,
I think people should be happy with the PS4 Pro.
look,
And
if you
just
can
live
get
with it
one,
for a
you can
year.
get one, but like, people shouldn't be going mad and paying double the price. You know, just hold off. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a few months at the most. You know, it's not the end of the world. So it's not.
Until they get stuff sorted with retailers and stuff, I assume, yeah.
Yep. That's my opinion, but, you know, content's the main thing. That's what sells it. You know what I mean? Sony's got the promise of getting the content out. That's why people want it. You know, so that will come, like, but they're
It definitely will. Like, I just feel, yeah.
Yeah, but before, like, they will sort out the stock before their major releases come out. Like, you know, the big games are what Horizon Forbidden West is it, and like, people are looking forward to the next Gran Turismo game, or like, they're not out yet. They're going to be at least, and you God of War, obviously, they're not going to be out at least the end of this year, early next year, or at least, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. But they'll have the stock sorted before that. So, you know.
I just feel at the minute like it is such a rare item, but down the road it's not going to become that rare anymore. And I just think everybody's just on this hype train, but like, oh, I really need to get this console. But like, I just think, as what you're saying, you shouldn't be paying them prices, and people shouldn't put them through hassle trying to sit in like on retailers' websites for like an hour in a queue just to, like, you know,
To try
get
and
the
get a
message
purchase.
that they're all out of stock, like, you know.
Aye. That's crazy, like, so it is.
Crazy.
You know. But like, it just takes a
Yeah,
split second. You could be lucky, but most people are maybe not
exactly.
lucky.
Exactly.
You
Yep.
know. They will
Not
come.
sure, Lee, do you have any other additional thoughts on that one, or?
Nope. On basically the whole Sony issues, I think there's just been a lot of problems with retailers and on Sony side. They just maybe add more security or change certain names.
They need a system in
Mhm.
place
Retailer,
to stop scalpers from doing what they're doing. You know, and give everybody an equal opportunity. So
well,
Mhm.
Arcus
to
just
purchase.
basically not sell the consoles to them in the first place. Like, how are they getting the consoles in the
How,
delivery?
how are they getting them into a basket to buy them?
Yeah,
That's
if they're
Exactly.
not available to buy.
yeah.
I still
Mhm.
think so could be an inside job.
That's the thing. You know.
Yeah, so I think we'll go on to the next one here. This one here is quite fresh, I think. It was just something I wanted just to really talk about. Should Sony issue refunds for the game Control on PS5? So, to give you the long and short answer or explanation to what's going on, the game Control, people were pre-ordering it for PS5, but Sony later said that it was going to be coming on the PlayStation Plus platform free of charge, and some consumers were not happy with the fact that they're going to be losing out on their pre-order, and the fact that it's just going to be coming free of charge on PlayStation Plus, whereas other people were like, "Oh, that's a good thing." But it was just weighing out the pros and cons on if Sony should be issuing refunds directly to people who were pre-ordering, or should they just be giving them, like, say, credit towards it or something. Uh, Barry, if you want to maybe give your opinion on it, if you have any.
Um, I'm trying to think on this one. It's a very Sorry, I'm trying to get the right word in here.
I would say it is kind of controversial because with what's been happening with the Cyberpunk 2077, Sony's reputation doesn't really blend in well when it comes to refunds. As you know yourself, Sony don't really have a proper refund policy in place.
Yeah.
So
you look, obviously the last time that something happened like Cyberpunk, they had to take it off the marketplace. So
exactly.
Well, one, I don't think they should be giving refunds. I think probably the credit. Not saying that I would like that, but it would probably be easier for them to do like a credit and give people a bit of money back so they can use it on the PlayStation Store. Whereas if we into that whole refunds policy, do they have to do something like Cyberpunk and totally take it off? Which I don't think they want to do, to be honest with you. But this, it's not even this. There's been a lot of like when you originally bought the game, you had to buy the game, and then they brought out DLC. You had to buy the DLC. So for people who even paid full price at that stage, then had to buy the Ultimate Edition as well to be even able to get the next gen version. So people were pissed off at that enough, and then they were waiting until it was cheaper. And then all of a sudden, a month or two later, if even a month or two later, now it's going to be free just like that. But I don't know. I think if Sony knew it was going to be free at that stage, they should have been telling people and warning them and giving them the heads up and make them make their own decision, and not come at the last minute and say, oh, by the way, it's going to be free on PlayStation Plus, next month. And people have already made the purchase. I just think it's back to it's the way it's been run, and I think just your man Jim Ryan, it's just it's the way it's PR and the whole that's the whole thing. Even as when they were launching the PlayStation 5 as well, the whole lead up as well, the way they were promoting it and all, and it's the same thing over again to me. It's just, sorry, I'm just trying to get the right words out here. I don't know. I don't think it's. They could have handled it better. So they could have, I think they should have just been open and honest from the start. And that's just, to me, it's just Sony all over again, the way they've handled it, And maybe they need another controversy like Cyberpunk to, maybe to get, if things like this are keep happening, maybe they need a refunds policy in place or something, to stop things like this happen, But will the uproar from people actually, get the refunds or get credit? That's another thing. I don't know if they will or not. They'll maybe look at it and say, look, you've already made your purchases. We possibly didn't have the deal in that stage in place before this all came out, but I would say that they knew. They've known for a while, I would say. These deals just don't happen overnight. There
could possibly be some reimbursement if the consumer wants to go and do it through the PlayStation Plus method, but as I say, you'll already own the full game regardless if you have PlayStation Plus or not. So whether or not people want to go down that route or not is really up to themselves, I think. But I do see the frustration to how people are reacting to this. I understand their frustration regarding it. Lee, I'm not sure if you have anything to add or.
It's just Sony. It's just the refund policy to be worked on to be more specific. They can't just say, well, I wouldn't pre-order a game and buying it, then say, for instance, Steam announced they're giving away a free game, and it's a game that I pre-ordered. I wouldn't be very happy on. I've asked for a refund.
Less than 2 months later.
Aye. But the problem is with Steam, their refund policy is quite finite.
But if they knew this was in place, why did they even have an Ultimate Edition for this enhanced version? It's sort of
money grab.
Yeah, I know it is a money grab, but if it's fair enough if you do it last year, right? Then Christmas last year, right? And then it comes free Christmas a year later. It's different, but when it's only 2 months apart or less, it's too quick. It just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. So it does.
It's just a bad taste. It's money.
I don't know. I feel, to be honest, that these corporations, Valve, PlayStation, Xbox, etc., I think with everything that's going digital now, and it's really becoming really mainstream, I think it's important to have them proper refund policies in place in order to protect customers, because it's not the same as sending back your disc and stuff, or
So
selling your disc on
at
or
the
something. Like
at the end of the day, it's a digital product, so it shouldn't be that hard to put something on this to from a
that's
like
that's it.
a
Yeah,
aye from a programmer or from that point of view, the back end of it shouldn't be that hard to do. Like, why does Sony not want that? Obviously, they want to. They don't want to give you your money back, really. If you
there's
buy a game and
probably
say
yeah.
you played 5 minutes of it and you hated that game, you technically own that game. You can do nothing about it.
That's it. Yeah,
Sure
I
was
think
worse
there
back in the
is.
olden days. Back when you were using discs. I remember buying GTA, Vice City, and GTA 3 on a box set. No, Vice City. I bought it twice, because the first copy I got was the platinum version. I was after the normal one. And I thought I got sold it. They had all the proper print, all the thing. Turns out it was a platinum copy. Never even used. I've still in the shrink wrap. They refused to refund me because the minute you buy it, that was it. You
I
only can
just think
sell. You only can sell it to like GameStop or Game for
yeah.
second-hand value.
Can I give you a reason why I think they charged for the Control Ultimate Edition in the first place, or why they were pushing that? I, I
They own the company.
No, I personally think that the game, for something's telling me the game didn't sell that well, and that's why they're pushing all these charges. So like why some games you buy at the start, you can buy like the season pass, any additional DLC for cheaper. If you buy it in a bundle, you get it cheaper. But they brought out the base game first, then people bought it and maybe it didn't sell that well, and then they brought out the DLC and maybe it didn't go that great either. You know what I mean? Because you had to pay full price for the DLC. And then
hmm
if the sales weren't great, then they start, right, we're going to charge an Ultimate Edition. It's not going to, people might like that, but the game hasn't possibly sold well for us as a company. So we're going to,
hmm
if you want to get the next gen version, you have to buy it again. You
hmm
know, that's
I
the only
don't
thing
know.
I
I
can
do.
think why they were charging that.
I
I know it's not
personally
related
think.
to your topic, but it's.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from, but I do personally think that Sony's, Microsoft, Valve and all that they probably have measures in place in order to protect themselves. But ultimately, I think they do need to protect the customer as well when it comes to refunding and stuff.
Hmm.
Especially with everything that is going digital. It's
Alright, can I
it's
give
more
you...
important now than it is, back then.
This is all about control. I'm looking up here. You can buy it for the moment on the PC now. This has only been released since what, October time? Late October?
hmm
No, August is it actually.
I come out in consoles first, did it not? And then PC.
PC, yeah.
It's, you can buy it now, the Ultimate Edition now on Steam, through CD Keys, buy their copy, and it's
Mm-hmm.
£12.
I don't think it sold that well. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like PC can't charge the Ultimate Edition anyway. You know what I mean? That's just they brought out the Ultimate Edition because they knew it was coming to consoles anyway. You know what I mean? Like because it was ready out pre-out before that in consoles. But
hmm
I don't know. I just think they're just looking more money because it maybe didn't sell it well. Like if a game comes out in August, right, and you can buy it January for 12 quid with it, you know what I mean? I don't know how much it is in Steam itself, their own store, but like that's a big drop, on a quite short a time. You could see a
I'm checking
game
now.
at say 50 quid or whatever it is come down maybe it'd be a tenner or £15 in about 6 months, but not like 75% or more off it. I
hmm
don't think it's sold well.
Should I have read their Redemption 2? It's still £35 on sale.
Aye, so many years later.
I know.
But
And GTA,
that's the brand, that's the company because they have got the, from what they've made like Grand Theft Auto 5 down and then Red Dead Redemption 2. Like they have got it's like Sony's got the market share because they're the leader in it. Like they have got the market share of the game because they're like it's the best selling game ever, and that's why we're not getting a new game because people are continuously buying it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're not getting on GTA
It's
6.
£35.
Is it?
Aye.
But then, like, probably if you had a thought January sale, you probably could have got it for maybe £15 on Steam.
No, I
Do you
think
know
it
what
was
I mean?
down to £20.
£20. Well, but do you know what I mean? Like, it was down
Close
on
enough,
half
yeah.
price. Do you know what I mean? So,
Okay, no, well, it is definitely, games hold their value. Some games don't hold their value. Some of them have to be pushed quicker than others. Some of them don't even need to be pushed at all, and they can be a massive success. I
Well,
just think,
all our platforms have a refund policy, and I think that's
yeah,
probably what's. I know it's
it.
sort of related, but not related. So I think Sony needs to do something and be with everybody else on it.
Just be more transparent. Yeah, I think really comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other final thoughts on that one, or
No, I'm happy enough on that one. I think that's sort of yeah.
The only thing I thought is, I don't see what's wrong with this game. Why people are just simply bitching so much about, yes, it's going to be free in a couple of months, but from what I can tell, the game got half decent reviews, won a lot of awards.
yeah.
I
In
think
my
it's
personal
because
opinion.
it's a short time after that people have bought this. So
I know that's the
but
only reason I can think of.
it's not the PC side of it. It's the console side that people are complaining about. It's because they've already bought the base game potentially and the DLC, and then they've had to buy the Ultimate Edition as on top of that. But now, a couple of months, less than 2 months later, you don't have to pay for it at all if you've got a PlayStation Plus subscription. But at the same time, like, that's a call they have made. They've purchased. That's the decision they've made. Like, for me personally, I would probably prefer to buy it to own it, because say I know I have PlayStation Plus at the minute, but say in another 6 months or whenever mine runs out, I may not upgrade and pay that extra £40 or £50 or whatever it is a year. Do you know what I mean? So then, if you don't pay that, you can't play that anyway. So it's like Game Pass and games and that
It's
as
like Game
well.
Pass for Microsoft, yeah.
Aye, so
what?
if you don't pay for Game Pass, you don't get to play the game, so you have to buy the game anyway. So that's
So what you're trying to say, Len, is owning the actual copy can sometimes ultimately be a better move than going.
For me, I prefer that, but everybody has to determine if it suits them more. Like, I personally prefer to own the game. I don't know if you want to say or not. I don't know.
No, sure. I had Game Pass. I got it for whatever reason, half price from my headset. Now I was playing Forza Horizon 4 on it.
And you bought it
Which
because you
I
liked it.
I ended up buying Ultimate Edition of it.
You got to try it for that cheaper price, and Game Pass, obviously you got a. That's what I like about Game Pass. You can try games if you like them, then you can buy them. Do you know what I mean? But
the only disappointing thing I can get was Horizon 3.
It's gone now. You see, they had to take it off the marketplace.
I tried looking into even the CD keys and stuff. You couldn't buy it in it earlier. Only the Xbox version.
No, the Xbox One you can still play on the PC, but it's only the base one. You can't buy all the DLC on them. Do you want it? We're getting off topic here, Gareth. Do you want to go to the next one, or are you happy enough?
No, it's all good flavour. I think
Yeah.
ultimately, I just think they need to have a better refund policy. All of them, regardless, could probably have a better policy. But yeah, the next topic we want to discuss really is sort of relays back to the previous topic we're talking about in regards to the stock issues. Some retailers are now taking on their own judgment to combine PlayStation 5 consoles as bundles, so you can buy the console with, say, a monitor or maybe an extra controller or a game or something. But in order to get the console, you have to buy it within their bundles. I know some UK retailers have started doing that, and they aren't doing that. They aren't offering the console on their own. So I just wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on that. Like, what do you think the strategy behind the retailers are for including the consoles as a bundle? Whereas if they have the consoles, would they not be better to sell them just outright on their own? Or
well, to me, sorry, I don't know if you're going to me first or not, but I'm going to butt on here anyway.
No, tear away. No, it's win.
I personally think is obviously there's the lack of stock, and they're getting them in few and far between. And the only way that they can make more money is to sell them as a bundle, as opposed to selling them on their own. You know, because if they have to wait longer, you know, so if they're only getting dribs and drabs in, like, they're not going to make as much money. So that's the only way they can maximize, you know, more money coming into the business. That's what I think anyway. Like, remember I linked that one across to you, Gareth? Was it a couple of months or what, beginning of January? Was it?
It's just beginning of January. Yeah.
So you could, what was it? I'm just going to go through it here. I actually got it in front of me. So PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, a 28-inch 4K gaming monitor, the PlayStation 5 HD camera, and an extra controller for £800. Considering the console and so on is $360. But it wasn't even a great monitor or anything. But that's how they're able to, you know, like, they're from that selling other things to you as well. Not even just PlayStation stuff. They're selling you in a monitor.
Wasn't a great monitor,
No.
but for the price,
but
comparing to what you're getting them on eBay, like, it doesn't sound that bad.
If you're spending £800 on eBay, you're getting much more value for your money there. You know, you're getting something from it, at least.
Exactly.
You know, that's the way you look at it. Like, they're selling additional products. You know, they're selling that monitor. Maybe didn't sell well, but if you're somebody who wants that PlayStation, oh well, it's not. Granted, it's not a great monitor, but I've got a monitor with it. You know, I can maybe, you know, if that person who's playing the PlayStation doesn't want to use it, I could give it to somebody else in the family that they could use. Do you know what I mean? So,
which for the same price, exactly. Which for the same price or about less, maybe.
You're getting for your money. You're not just doubling your money for no reason.
Exactly.
Wasting that extra money.
Exactly.
You know.
I have a couple different thoughts on that matter.
Go for it.
One of them is I agree with the bundles in some way. I remember years ago it was always cheaper sometimes.
But the bundles now you don't save money. There's the bundles made up of the price is what the value of the items are anyway.
I remember times that the N64, some of the games were included in some of them was actually great value, including with the console. It was like maybe 120, 130 quid, but that's a long time ago. But so, you know, buying it separately would cost you maybe 150 quid to 160 quid, depends on where you buy the console and game at.
Mm-hmm.
But the bundles nowadays, maybe they're doing that to sort scalpers, because why do they want the extra stuff? They want people to make money on it.
Yeah.
That's maybe another reason. Like, they're hardly going to want to buy a PS5 with a monitor.
But then the day that bundle's not for everybody either. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I agree with that too. It's not fair. Maybe they should have a separate thing where you can maybe add a controller or game or.
I like sort of customize your own bundle
then. Yeah. But you have to buy an additional. Say you had to buy the console plus an additional two items to stop scalpers. That's actually not a bad idea, you know what I mean? Because, like, most people when they're buying a new console, I know myself, I bought like additional controllers and you know what I mean, like, so. Or you could buy Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live.
Yeah, include digital download stuff like e-cards or whatnot.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a physical item. It could be just a card to give you the code for PlayStation Network or whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But no, that's the thing. I do agree. It can maybe stop scalpers in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't like the bundles idea if they're not going to save you money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they used to be saving money on them, even if it was a tenner. It's all saved a tenner.
That only really happens now whenever the device has been out a while and the sales start to, like, either flatten or, you know, go down more aggressively, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the start of a new generation, you don't really get discounts, so you don't, to be honest with you.
I'm not even talking about a massive discount. I'm talking about like $5 or even a tenner.
You buy so you're talking about if you buy a console and a controller, you get like a $5 or a tenner off the controller.
Aye, you buy say the console controller and maybe a game with or 2 games with it, and maybe a £10 top up for the PS.
Or even get like a free something with it then, like a £20 voucher or something, you know, to make the incentive.
Aye.
Or whatever.
So I think really for that one we're all in agreement that yes, there are some disadvantages to buying the console as a bundle package, but ultimately with everything that's going
Depends on
on
the
and
buyer.
yeah, just how they're being
PS buyer
distributed at the
beware.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe
As
it's
long
not
as
as bad as value as
as long as the
how they're being
buyer's
sold.
as long as the buyer's buying it for the right reason, not just buying it
Yeah,
for the sake of buying it, as well at the
yeah.
same time.
I know. I don't know. I just find it interesting. Like, obviously it's not a uncommon thing for consoles to be sold as bundles, but just with how things are going at the moment, on how some people are now going down that route in order to get the console and stuff, and buying it as a package and stuff, and it's really, with everything that's going on at the moment, that's what people are doing. But yeah, I'm not sure if you have any other final thoughts on that one. Or...
No, I think we're pretty much in agreement that that
Mm-hmm.
bundles are good if it's right for you, and you should only buy them if it suits you. Not buying it for the
Yeah,
sake of buying it. But I like
yeah,
that
exactly.
comment that Lee made that it was maybe stop scalpers. So I think
Yeah.
that'd be a good thing. Making people buy an additionals. Not even to that yet, like that extra value, but even that it comes up to like £50 or £100 extra, even as well. You know what I mean? To stop the scalpers. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
£800 maybe a bit extreme of a bundle for me.
Mm-hmm.
If it suited, maybe, but not really at the same time, because
Um,
the way I would look at that bundle is like I could get the console plus the games that I want, because then you still have to buy games on top of that £800 as well,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so sorry, I
It's
just see that
expensive when you think about it.
it is, because if you have to buy that £800, say you want to buy two brand new games and then you want the ultimate editions or something, you're going to spend an extra 80, 90, £100 per game on top of that. So you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about £1,000 maybe with two games nearly. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, for a brand new console, it's a lot of money, like,
You can add up, like.
that certainly can. Maybe that's another topic for another night.
Yeah, so I think that's really leading into our final one then for this one. Bar, I think I might let you this one if you want. I know you were quite passionate about it. Returnal
I
is
wouldn't say
now
no.
set to release on April the 30th, 2021. I think the original date was around this time around February, I think, was it? If you want to quote me in there.
It was due to come out in February, so it was. Now, it's not that
Yeah.
I'm quite passionate about it, but it leads to me. This leads back to this whole price hike in games from $60 to $70, and this is one of the games that is going to be released at $70. There's not hasn't been too many because they've been sort of depend on the game, and I think personally this developer who makes this game hasn't brought out a AAA game before. They've made sort of like indie or AA games or whatever you want to call them, and probably February would have been a better time for them to release the game, considering there's not much else coming out, and it might give it a chance, that people maybe buy it. If there's nothing else out, there's a higher chance you buy that game. But the problem for me is that now they've pushed it back. I can't remember what the reason said. It was something to do with polishing the game up, just getting it ready. Just make sure it's its best quality or whatever. But the problem is, like, come April time when this game's been released, like you're gonna have. Well, I'm just trying to bring up a couple of games here. So that Canyon Bridge of Spirits is coming out March. Now it hasn't said when in March, so like if you're a person who likes that game, you're going to buy that, and you might be playing it for the next couple of months. Outriders is coming out April 1st, which I think's getting a bit of buzz and popularity going. Resident Evil 8 Village is coming out in May 7th. So like when this game's coming out in April 30th, people might hold off for Resident Evil quicker, because they know what they're getting. This game's still unknown, and there's not a lot of information known about it. So it would have been better timing in February for it than the end of April, because there's too many games coming out that will, to me, will sell better than what it will. And I think it's give itself a disadvantage to sell well, and even at that $70 price point. I don't know if it should be $70, that's another story, but I don't know if you guys agree or not.
I agree to a certain extent.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent as well, I think.
So what's beyond your certain extent that you would disagree with that then? Is there anything that would... Do you think
For
I'm wrong in what I'm
me,
saying?
no, it's nothing wrong with you saying
It
that
would
the
be a
developer
different...
is not really that well known to making those trying AAA games.
Yep. They have this is their first AAA game, so it is.
Not unless the other work had been extremely good. What I mean by that, it's all been very good feeds, always winning awards, always been known to be outstanding. Then I would judge them. Maybe I'll give it a chance. But if the other ones, other games they made, has not been near that standard, I'd be hesitant to buy it.
The developer is House Marquee, which I have never really heard much of. They're a Finnish company. If you don't want to talk, I'm going to have a wee quick look here and see what they've made, if I can find out. To give you an idea.
Yeah, I don't agree with their prices. Are you telling me what's
$70.
So-
$70 or 70 quid for a game? That might not be that great.
So I'm going to name you games here, and you can tell me if you've ever played them. So the last game they made 2 games in 2017 on the PlayStation 4. And they were called Nex Machina and Matterfall or something it's called, which I have never heard of. And 2016 they made one for PlayStation 4 called Alien Nation. I think I've heard of that one, but I don't think it was a very low budget game. I don't know. Can't remember. I remember it a bit, but I don't remember it that well. So it's not like these games are really something I would want to play. Resogun in 2013. I think that's got sort of quite a cult following, but it wasn't really sort of my cup of tea either, I don't think.
I think that company should maybe adopt a different model. I'm not going to hit saying this, but a certain model of what CD Projekt Red did for Witcher 3.
See, I think Sony have helped them with funding for this game, but they're not owned by them. I think this is what a lot of people are talking about this company is if they can make a AAA game and they can do it and it sells well, they're talking that Sony will buy the company. So I don't know if that was a good thing or not. And I don't think this game, because I've never heard of the other games, I don't think it should be a $70 game. I think it should.
Well, I mean by the adopt the Witcher 3 method was buy the game of full price, but it comes with a lot of stuff for free. That a lot of games will actually charge you for.
I don't think this one has. This is just the game.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. It comes with Ultimate Edition, which kind of just pissed me off. It should be Ultimate Edition right away. Yes, we all know developers need to make money on games to keep making them, but the company's all known for that kind of section of games. It shouldn't be charging, Resident Evil money.
I think they should have maybe had an incremental increase, obviously $50 for this game, and then if it sells well, then if they make themselves a brand name and it's good game, then by all means, next one go the full hog and do the game. But I just think because they're so
be honest with you, you got more chance of a brand new Command Conquer game selling better and paying top dollar for than some other games being made. It had the cult following.
But then Command Conquer doesn't really nowadays. It's not really.
The problem is Command Conquer is dead. The company who made it got bought and torn to shreds by other company. I care to mention. But what I'm saying is a brand new Command Conquer game coming out, promises everything like the other games produced years ago. It probably will sell for that money, which it might actually get because Command Conquer is also a brand name. It has known to be good games, including Command Conquer Generals.
For all we know, that game could be fantastic and score high marks in Metacritic and whatever and sell well, but at this minute we don't know that because it's on the one, you know what I mean? Until it comes out and people play it, you don't know. For that, going from AA games or whatever, or indie games up to a AAA, your first AAA game, it's a big ask for people to pay $70.
What is the game exactly? Sorry, you know more about than I do.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything about it, and a lot of people don't because they've only showed gameplay. Nobody knows anything about the story or nothing.
But what I mean is it's RPG, RTS, what?
I don't think it's a RPG or an RTS. It's more like, I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything near, but like sort of like Lost Planet. You're running around like killing things. You know, it's not really, you know, and I don't even know the
Open
story.
world.
I'm trying to think of another game that was resembling. I can't even think offhand. Sort of Gears of War style, or you know, like we were playing that earlier, but you know, just you're running
So
around
what?
killing stuff.
Action
But
adventure?
I think so, more so. I don't know if there's any RPG elements in it, so I don't.
Action adventure games, you generally speaking, don't demand a lot of money, not unless they got a good name to them.
Hmm.
They should maybe look at the game more and say, is it actually worth that money?
I don't think it's like Gears of War. Obviously, I'm just saying that just like you know you're just sort of running around. I don't think there's any RPG elements to it.
It's not really open world, it's more cutscenes.
I think it's more. It's probably more to a degree, but it's. I think to me it looks more like you know you've got a path, a linear path to go. You know, but it's maybe open areas if you know what I mean. I don't think it's like open world style. I could be wrong, but just looking at the trailer here, and that's what I get from it. But I just don't think it's worth that sort of money. Like you know, I prefer open world games. Don't get me as well. I do. I can play linear games too, but I prefer open world games. You know, because I like the
Yeah, same here.
choice. Like I like playing games. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. Whereas that's just like you have to just you know go to here, do your mission, collect your whatever, then you're given another task. You go to your next mission. It's too linear and straightforward. You know, it's just
Yeah,
it
that
takes the
put me
fun
off
out of it a
Monster
wee bit.
Hunter.
No, I can play games like that, but I prefer the other, you know, open world.
I've heard open world, I can do what I like.
Do you know what? I'd be interested to see how it progresses and how well it does do, and how many people buy it based on the $70 price point, or do people wait and buy it when if it doesn't sell within a couple of months? Like we've seen with Control, it's come down in price to free or a lot cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, but then you have the option to do that. You know what I mean? If you don't think it's a game for you, well, you maybe think it could be a game for you, but it's too dear. People might
I
wait.
know every company, the game developer had to site somewhere and actually get their reputation built up and trying to make a game, I guess. It's
Incremental
probably the
price
best way.
jumps based on how well you're doing.
It used to be like that, Barry, not anymore. You have to
No.
remember that.
Hmm.
It's all corporate greed now. They care
No.
about themselves and not about the actual people buying them.
Mm-hmm. Sure, everyone's
But
going up in price.
then again, the game flops. They lose more money than anything.
I know.
So
But I'll be
I
interested.
can't
I'll
complain.
be one to watch Lee and Gareth see how the outcome of that one comes.
100%.
Maybe it'll come out and Baz might like it and say, "Oh, that's for me." But I'll be honest with you, if that happens, I wouldn't buy it surely because I wouldn't pay $70 for it. I begrudge paying $70 anyway. Never mind for a game that I don't even, you know,
I play
think it's
PC
worth it.
for a reason. I could buy cheaper.
But then that's the thing with PC gaming. So you're paying more money up front, but that's a perk of doing that. You know, you're spending your 1,000 to 2 or 3 grand on your PC. Then your perk is that you can get the games cheaper. Whereas consoles, that's how they make their money. That's why I don't agree with the price hike. You know what I mean? But that's how they make their money back. You know.
Sony this year has been quite bad. Like Xbox never did it. Their prices have been the same since last gen, where Sony increased the prices
Well,
all
they're
around.
trying to keep the customers you know they're trying to do better faith with them because they want people to buy Game Pass rather than buy their games anyway. You know what I mean? That's not what they're wanting. They're not caring where people buy the game. They would rather you subscribe to their Game Pass when you get all their games day and date on that. You know.
I
But
know, but
I
it's
still
still-
personally prefer to buy games. You know.
So do I.
Yeah.
I
Game
still
Pass-
begrudge.
To me, Game Pass is good because I honestly think Sony's going to do something like Game Pass eventually anyway. So I know this is a wee bit off. This is a PlayStation podcast, but Game Pass to me, like you know, people have the option to come in and say, "Oh, there's a few games coming out that month or the next couple of months. I'll maybe pay for it for a couple of months, try the games. If I like them, then I'll buy them." Do you know what I mean? That gives it's options. So it is. You know, now some people who like Game Pass, they'll maybe just subscribe forever. Some people maybe play partially to subscribe to try a couple of games, and if they like the games, they'll either not buy them or buy them. Do you know what I mean? They can subscribe on and off, and how they choose to want to pay or play. You know what I mean?
It's a great way you think about it this way because there's no demos hardly anymore. You can't just like it used to be. You used to play maybe
few and far
a
between.
half hour. You could maybe play a half hour of the game and actually get a decent demo. Now it's like it's just a video, and I mean that's do anything proper.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Like it is a good way, like to treat it like demos as well. But you're not getting a demo; you're getting the full game, so you could finish it if you want and not pay for it at all.
Yeah, that's what happened to me in my Steam. I bought too many games. I thought I might play that. Yeah, never happened.
But you went to a lot of those downs cheap, but
Yes. I wait. What was it for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt? I got the Game Air edition for like 20 quid when it first came out. I'll be honest with you, dude. I could see myself paying full price for it, but I still got it cheap, so I'm happy enough.
Yeah. Let's get back to the topic we were saying. So, I have voiced my opinion quite on that, and obviously we don't know much about the game, but because it's so unknown and it's a £70 or $70 price point, whatever it's going to be, or 60 quid or whatever, let's just keep it to dollars. Like, what would it take? If you were a consumer and you had a PlayStation, what would it take? If you, for the little you know about the game, and it's the first AAA game, what would be the maximum you would pay for that game on day one? But I think, to me, it personally should be around $50. 60 maximum, but not, I don't think, because I'm still looking at the price point of $60 should be their maximum, so 50 for me should what it should be. What do you think?
35 for standard and 45 for ultimate.
Now, you're looking at PC and console side, Lee.
Yes, it's console prices.
Realistically, console prices are not going to be that cheap.
Realistically, I don't want to pay any more than $50.
So you're in agreement with me, roughly?
Can it be Canadian dollars because they're worthless?
No, Australian dollars. American dollars. We'll go with your 50 American dollars. Is that okay, Lee?
Fine.
What about you, Gareth? What do you think? You're going quiet.
I would say probably around $50, to be honest. I think that's a fair mark, to be honest, I think.
If there were say if it was a sequel to a game or something, or new, if they had already an existing AAA game that done well and it was similar and you knew you were going to like it, it's different. But because this is a first time AAA game coming from AA games, it's a big ask, I think, for people to pay the $70 to put the faith in it. When it's so unknown.
Like I say, my opinion of it, I don't know any other games they made. If the games other games they made was high, everyone loves them, win the awards, and they all got high marks and everything, and then a game like that, it might be worth it, but not when they're letting extra money for Ultimate Edition, which I don't think is right. I think it should be Ultimate Edition or no edition.
It's like when Rockstar made Grand Theft Auto. I can't remember, was it 4? And then obviously Red Dead. I'm not talking about the second one, but the first the first one came out. Like, people knew what type of game and what quality they were getting, so like they were happy enough to pay that full price for that game. Personally, I think the first one's better than the second one, but that's just a different story altogether. But like, they had instilled the faith in the customers, and they, people knew that they could make that game. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a different scenario. This in here is like, because they're so unknown, like, it's a big ask for me. Like, that's just sort of trying to compare a couple of games that are, that's what I think anyway. It's different if you've got the name for the game and you're bringing out a different game, but like, people know what you're capable of. We don't know what this.
I can mention one company that did badly in it.
What?
CD Projekt Red.
Well, that's a different kettle of fish totally. No, hold on. Cyberpunk to me was a good game. It's just, it was the bugs and the glitches that piss people off. The game itself is not bad. If them bugs and stuff were fixed and this didn't happen at the start, people actually probably enjoyed the game.
That's not what I meant. I meant they come from a big high from Witcher 3. I mean, that game was loved by everyone near enough. And it's all
Cyberpunk
mentioned
could
as,
have been loved. It was the
yes.
scandal and all surrounding it.
It was
The game
just
is
too
good.
many issues. There's just too many issues. The game is half decent, but they also promise stuff that's never in the game.
True, as well. Which the
So
Witcher 3
that's
didn't
another
have.
thing.
What they promised was in the game, really, I think.
Yes.
I think
Like
they
my
were too
own
ambitious for what all the hardware variations are making it for. If they had made it PC and Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 only, I think they could have pulled off what they wanted to.
Yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the old gen consoles killed it because they weren't powerful enough to run it properly.
Do you think if Returnal does well, will Sony buy that company? Or that
Depends.
/publisher?
Sony could maybe still buy it if they did bad. It's just they buy a lot less money.
If they see potential in it, you know,
yes.
If it sort of does well, do you think they still buy it? It mightn't have to do like well, you know. Maybe if
You never know with Sony,
and it gets decent sales, Sony might, you know, because then if they buy it, like they can invest them into making better games. But they need to.
Are you asking that in comparison to Microsoft buying up so many studios? Like, do you think Sony would start doing the same in terms of that, or?
Well, there is rumors that Sony's going to buy studios, so this could be a potential. Sony will buy studios. Now, they don't buy as many as what Microsoft does, but I personally think that Sony also needs to step up the game and buy developers, because if you look at it this way, right, say Bethesda was bought by Google, right, that would have been exclusive to Google Stadia. We would have lost out on all them potentially lethal games that'll come out. Do you know what I mean? On a console. At least we're still getting them on a console. Well, no, we don't know what consoles, if it's going to be exclusive to Xbox or multi-platform to all consoles plus PC. At least now, because Microsoft have bought them, you can get them on at least Xbox console, maybe PlayStation, plus PC and cloud gaming. You would only be able to get them on one cloud gaming platform, and that been Google Stadia, and that would have been a disaster. And I think if any, like, is it what's the other company? Is it not 50 Cent, or there's another company that's looking to buy studios as well, and they would do the same thing. So I would rather Sony and Microsoft.
How about 5 Cent? You mean the company who's behind Epic?
There's another company that would buy them and put them on that you would lose them as well. And they'd probably put them on. Maybe it is them, put them in the Epic Store, and you would lose them on all the other consoles and Steam and everything, Lee. So I know. Like Sony and Microsoft is the only two big companies that can do it to stop them from going on these exclusive platforms.
Well,
I would rather have them that you can get them on console. If they were taken away and you couldn't get them on a console or a PC, and your specific platform that you use would be a major thing.
Barry, you're forgetting one thing too. Sony got away habit keeping their exclusives to themselves.
Yeah,
and don't
I would rather have them on a console platform. If them other companies bought them up, you know, you're not going to be able to have, like, on a console. You have to do them on a streaming service, which is a bad thing. You know, well, maybe not, you know, that one for Epic, but like if Google or Amazon bought them, like you would lose that.
10
or 10 cents, sorry, but you would lose. You know, if Amazon, I'll not say the other one, but I'll say Amazon or Google bought them, you wouldn't have them in console anymore. You'd have to do a streaming service, and we talk so much about internet and the lack of how good it is. It's bad, and depending where you're living. Like, imagine you were trying to play Cyberpunk on through your internet, like Gareth. Come on. Would that work? No, it wouldn't.
Not too before we are.
No. You know, like these companies like Sony and Microsoft or EA, God forbid even saying it, but EA or some of them have to step up and make sure that them other companies didn't get them. You know, Yun's don't like Yun's probably thinking, what is he going on about? Like, you know, it's only a company at the end of the day, but like if there's if you lost Bethesda, like Lee, no more Elder Scrolls, no more Fallout, no more Doom, no more on your PC or console.
What did the last Fallout was a Fallout because it wasn't that great.
But that was the online. That's different. I'm talking about like Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls 5, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would lose that. Like, this... I don't know, like... I think these companies will just have to step up. If any company's up for sale, and they've got decent IPs, they need to be bought up by the right people. You know, I know you're saying...
What company did you forgot to mention?
What?
Nintendo.
Nintendo will not step up. They'll not. They're happy enough for their own IPs, and they do their own thing. They're different. That's a different kettle of fish.
I know, but I'd be a laugh, dude. Imagine they bought like EA or something. They own everything EA does. That'd be hilarious.
All I'm saying is companies like them need to step up to keep them on consoles and PCs. You know, that would be a major loss if, you know...
Well,
imagine, you know,
I'd be honest with you, Barry, you're forgetting one aspect. If, say, for instance, Tencent bought the games companies and they're all on Epic, there are other ways you can play them on the PC.
yes,
Like the PC...
But, you know, you're taking away... You know, like, most games that come out, I know they may become exclusive to Epic or certain platforms, but they always come to, you know, like, you're waiting for Immortals Phoenix Rising. You're waiting for it to come onto Steam rather than having to buy it on Ubisoft. If that company bought it, you haven't that option, Lee.
I know, but I'm not talking about actually paying for it.
Cracking it. Aye, but if you want to support the developer and make games, then that's not how you...
Well, the developer got bought by Tencent. They don't deserve to get supported, so...
that's my point. These companies need to step up to the game and buy the company so that doesn't happen. You know? Imagine if Bethesda had been bought by Amazon or Google or Tencent.
What about Nvidia? Because they have their own game sim services too.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a massive game we got, God of War. Imagine that had been bought by another company and they bought the rights to it. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I wish Steam actually buy more game companies to get more games.
Steam doesn't need to. They're making too much money is a problem.
Yeah.
You know, but look, that's what I think. That's my personal opinion. These companies, if a company comes up and they've got good IPs and they're worth buying, they need to be bought. You know, that's my opinion. But by the right companies, it needs to be bought by Microsoft or Sony. Like, people are giving off at Microsoft buying these companies because they don't know if they're going to be games are going to be exclusive or not. Like, but why can Sony buy a company and everybody expects it's going to be exclusive, but yet if Microsoft buys a company, and then they're all up in arms, like, you know, oh, are we going to lose these games to Microsoft?
Fanboys.
Yep.
Fanboys.
That's what it's down to. You know.
I know people winning Xbox by getting all their bitch and complain when Xbox didn't do this and do that, but Sony set a foot wrong. Oh my god, that's brilliant. Should have thought the whole thing back years ago when Xbox launched was it the One S, all digital?
Oh, they'd never do that. Oh no, we don't. Sony
PS5 digital edition.
Sony believes in generations. The only way to get next gen exclusives is to buy our PlayStation 5. But by the way, all the games are coming out in the PlayStation 4 as well for the next 3 to 4 years. Yeah, we believe in generations. That's a different story. Sorry, Gareth, we're getting off topics here for you.
It's still technically PS5 related, so nothing against it.
True.
Should a lot of the fan inside it.
Oh.
And you say you have one of the bad ones.
I'm nearly sure I have, because it was running one night with no game playing and the fan was going, what shouldn't be happening in the menu.
I don't know. I think I do believe what you're saying, but not going off topic, but back on topic. Like, in terms of like, yeah, no, like I do think if companies are deciding to sell up their IPs and stuff, like, I do believe they should be bought by the right people. Now, whether or not Sony does buy, it's another question. But
you'd like to think that Microsoft or Sony or, God forbid, Take-Two or EA would buy them to you know, so we still can get
just to keep them within the circle, like. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you've got your good and bad points that you might get the right company who'll do justice
Turn it
to it,
around,
but you could
yeah.
get the wrong company and they make one more game and it's bad and they could just disband them anyway. But that's
Yeah.
the chance they're taking. At least if they the
That
right
EA
company,
that you're
at least
describing, EA there.
I know. Here, Microsoft have done it as well. So no company
Oh, I know.
is clean. Like they've all done stuff in the past, and but that's down
Mm-hmm.
to who's the leader and who's in charge. So it is. So I think
I'm still waiting on Supreme
like
Commander 3.
I'll be honest with you, a lot of people don't like Phil Spencer. I think I quite like him because he's more upfront and he's honest, and you know what I mean. If they make a mistake, they backtrack, they try to fix it. Now, some of the stuff they've done recently they shouldn't have done, but at least they're more open and honest. Like now, when you get the PlayStation side, Jim Ryan, I don't think should be in charge. Now,
Can I
know
ask
there's
you one question, Barry? Are you biased?
no. Well, I am more for Xbox side. I'll be honest with you. Like I do enjoy PlayStation games. So it's not as if I'm a total fanboy. Like
I still remember years ago when it was the iPod, and say you buy an iPod, you bought a Microsoft soon.
Zoom. And that flopped.
It was like biggest flop. Okay, it's like the time that Apple tried to release a games console. Yeah, never worked.
No. All right, boys. Gareth, do you want to add anything else, or we maybe wrap this up for this podcast? Because we're getting very off topic of it, I think maybe.
Well, yeah, I think we are. No, I have
Any
nothing
other
really else to
thoughts?
add. I think, to be honest, no, I don't really have any other additional thoughts really on it. It's just we'll have to wait and see if Return will be any good or not. Like, you never know. So you have to give game time to develop and progress once it is launched. So you never know. Hopefully, you never know. Could be worth the $70. Don't know.
I would reserve my judgment for PS5 and Xbox Series X until it actually is next gen games. But at the moment, they're just basically the last gen games. They've just been updated.
Enhanced.
Just sort of recycled sort of games. I take it.
Yeah, they've just been photoshopped to make it look better. They might have just got the
Yeah.
Snapchat filter on it.
Well, it's a bit more than that, to be fair. But,
Same idea, Barry. Same idea.
well,
It's not much of a difference. They just
but
basically, get a pig, slap some makeup on it, and say, "There you go, the enhanced edition of the pig."
I disagree because, like, if you're running a game in a series, let's example 1X, right? Or no, we'll keep it PlayStation. So, say if you're running a game on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it's run at 4K 30, you can't do a facelift to get it to run at 4K 60 on a PlayStation 5. So you can't.
I look at it this way. From my last PC to my new PC, I know there's a massive difference in performance increase. Not just in performance only, but in gameplay in general.
But that was
So
your
of course,
CPU, wasn't your GPU.
well, this PS4 versus a PS5 in terms of specs is completely, nonsense because the PS5 outbeats it and everything.
But the games do run better. There might be a big upgrade in graphics. You're talking about a filter on. That's not a filter, but a CPU difference, like frame rate. Now, if you're running a game at 4K 30, see if you get used to games at 4K 60. See trying to get back, it is friggin' hard. See when you get used to that smooth gameplay and that the visuals,
Barry, I think you should do? Invest in a
This is clean.
480p monitor and start playing games on it.
For what?
480p monitor.
No, not a mission.
Yes.
I could do 1080p 60, but I'll not be doing 480p 30 whatever.
How about 360p then?
No, definitely not. That's going the wrong way, Lee. Right, boys, will we wrap her up there and for the night?
What about the old Nokia color screens?
I think so. We're getting a bit off topic now. Now we're talking about 40p monitors. The nature of these podcasts.
Buying a PlayStation 5 for 360p at 30 frames per second.
That's all fun.
Right, boys, we'll wrap her up there. So, if no more comments on the topics or anything, you're just happy enough. We've sort of grilled them out. But here, if you like the podcast or anything, let us know or whatever. Or, you know, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. But here, thanks for listening and hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you until the next one.
All right, now, bye.
Thanks.